Okay, this is chapter 7.5, and we're comparing fraction factors and products. This is something we started to talk about on the last lesson. And this whole idea of multiplying things by 1, if it's multiplied by 1, it's equal. If it's multiplied by greater than 1, then it grows. If it's multiplied by less than 1, it shrinks. So we have this idea that these little graph in the lesson that the Smith family ate 3/4 of a box of cereal. That's 3/4 of one box. So that's really 3/4 times 1. And what we want to know is if we have this box of cereal and we split it up into fourths, okay, they eat 3/4 of the box. And the question is, what happens to the size of the product when a number is multiplied by a fraction or a whole number? Or what happens to the size? And that's what we're looking for. So we want to know, is the product equal to, greater than, or less than one box? So we have 1, and when we multiply these together, do we get something that's smaller than 1, or something greater than 1? So this idea, there's one box here, and really 3/4 of just means that you have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. 3/4 of 1 is actually equal to 3/4. And is that number bigger than 1, smaller than 1, or equal to 1? And obviously it's smaller than 1. 3/4 is less than 1. You ate less than a whole box. Now, if it says the family ate 1 box of cereal, how much is that? Well, that's 1 box of cereal. That's 1 times 1. That means they ate the whole box, obviously. Okay? So that's kind of how it works. And when we use fractions, we're going to be comparing all the time. The next question talks about the same family, or it's another family actually, and they have 4 boxes of cereal. They ate 3/4 of all the cereal during the week. So that looks like 4 boxes of cereal. And they ate 3/4 of each one of them during the week. So it's kind of like eating that much, leaving eating most. Let's change it to this one. Eating 3/4, which is almost all of a box of all 4 boxes of cereal. So you just have to multiply that. You fill it in like this. Will it be equal to, greater than, or less than the original amount, which was 4? So we're looking for 3/4 of, or times 4, which is just 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 over and over again. We're just, multiplication is addition repeating itself. And we end up, if we just multiply 3/4 times 4 ones equals 12/4. And if we simplify 12/4, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So you will have eaten 3 whole boxes of cereal. And there will be 1 box left uneaten. And if you think about it, there's 1/4, another quarter, 3/4. And there are 4/4 altogether of cereal that were not eaten. So that kind of makes sense then. And that's how it works. There's another way that they like to show it, and they start using number lines. We can use number lines too. I guess we maybe could use a straight number line a little better. And they have, like, a number line goes forever to forever. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it says they want you to graph a point, and we're going to use 1 times 3/4. I guess we should write it the fractional way, which looks a little better. 1 times 3/4. Okay, so they want you to locate 3/4 on the diagram and shade the distance from 0. Then graph a point to show 1 of 3/4. So 1 of 3/4. Okay, so 1 times 3/4. Now, if we want to, we can cut this into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we say 1 times 3/4. So 3/4 would be this point right here. 3 out of 4 one time. Okay, that makes sense. If we do it again and we use another problem, let's go ahead and back it up and maybe use an eraser over here. I won't have to do that again. I'll be able to back it up next time. And their second question is 1/2 times 3/4. So we still have 3/4, which is right here. But we're going to do half of that. So half of 3/4 is right in the middle. So you can see that that halfway point is right in the middle between 1/4 and 1/2. And that is a little bit more complicated. Now, if they give us another question, and they say 4 times 3/4, then that gives us a completely different answer. That means that we're going to go 3/4 over, which again is 1, 2, 3. That would be this point. One of those. And then we have to kind of keep cutting these into our same size fourths. Alright, so now that's once. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3 again. So that's another 3/4. That's a second one. 1, 2, 3 goes to this point. Another 3/4. We're going to do it 4 times. Which gets to this one, so that's 4 times. So 4 times 3/4 gets us to 3. So our answer would be 3. And that's kind of what we did with those boxes of cereals on one of those other questions. So you can use the number line to help you jump around. Okay. If they give you some other question, you can still use a number line. You just have to change up the number of marks that you have. For instance, if they give you the same sort of number line, with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But this time, they ask you to do something in eighths. You might have, in the book they say 4 times 7/8. That means you have to cut each one of these into 8 pieces, which is a little harder to do. They get to be really small pieces. And you count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is this line right here. And that's how far you go. 7 out of 8, and then you go another 7 out of 8, and you go another 7 out of 8, and you keep going until you get to the answer, until you have gone 4 times. Okay, so this is a little harder, and you have to have better graph paper, which you will have in your book anytime it asks you to do this. Okay, and then you have to decide whether it's less than or greater than or equal to what you were looking at. So, for instance, on this one right here, 4 times 3/4 equals 3. When you multiply something 3/4 of a time, it is less. So you want to think that it's less. Okay, it's less than what you started with. You start with 4 and you multiply it 3/4 of a time, which is less than 1. Then you end up getting less. Whenever you multiply by less than 1, it shrinks. And it's just an idea you need to keep in your head, and everything's just going to keep working.